Karibuni katika ibada. Tulianza ibada hii saa 3 na colleagues. Tumesema Mungu, ibada hii tumefanya sehemu kubwa, tuko na so nataka nikaribishe ndugu John. Tomorrow is not late, so be careful when you are talking here.
Thank you. I'm going to summarize. You all have a benefit of having a copy of the eulogy with you. Around in 1967, is in that book, student 25th of December. He actually attended Kalabata Primary, which is a few kilometers to Marekut, where he 84, 85 he joined high school.
Tumo katika kanisa letu ni kitu ambaye alifanya mwenyewe na akasimamia na kazi kubwa ili Reverend Mugo aweze tu kutusomea.
Tumeketi hapa, tumeongea, tumesikiza neno lako.
Ya kwanza ni kuungana na wale wamesungumuza hapo mbele ya kwamba hii nchi yetu haitakuwa na watu wengine kutoka nje kutusaidia kujenga umoja wetu na maendeleo yetu. Ni sisi wenyewe. Kwa hivyo nataka kuwasihi waheshimiwa wabunge, kwa sababu nyinyi ndio mko na platform ya kuongea kila wakati, kila mahali. Tuongee kwa lugha ambayo inaleta Wakenya pamoja. Tuongee kwa lugha ambayo inawahamasisha Wakenya kujua ya kwamba ukiwa hapa Baringo hauna tofauti na mtu ya Mandera, hauna tofauti na mtu ya Kwale, na mtu ya Busia, na mtu ya kila mahali. Hii ndio nchi yetu.
There is the Global Fund, which focuses on health. Globally, they raise, the last time they had about 18 billion in the kitty. They are now looking for a replenishment, just the way you led the replenishment of the World Bank, IDA 21 in Nairobi. The Global Fund CEO, Dr. Sands, has sent me with a letter saying they need your urgent help to mount a global appeal to raise money for health because the geopolitics has scattered international funding for health. They want you to mount the appeal, not just on behalf of Kenya, not on behalf of Africa, but on behalf of the very many who are suffering and who are going to suffer the consequences of the changing health problems katika ulimwengu health funding. I will give you the report and the letter. But why do I bring this up? I bring this up because lazima tujiulize sasa, was it a premonition? Or what was it? That Kenya, you were a step ahead of these things by introducing the universal health care and working on the program, which was initially vilified, castigated. But what is the lesson that we now learn? The world is telling us, you have to take care of your own sick. Don't wait for us. So the politics that we were playing because of health, let us cease, because now there's a global crisis. There's no freebies. Hakuna ile kitu ya bure bure. It is now serious. Let us pull together and figure out if there are any hiccups, how do we unite and sort and smoothen them? But the reality now is that there is no more money that can be doled around kugawagawa kwa mambo ya health kwa dunia hii. And sasa wazungu ndio wamenituma nirudi kwa Mwafrika. Mheshimiwa Ruto, rais wa Kenya, ashike ushukani, aanze campaign ya kutetea ulimwengu, pesa za afya zipatikane. Ladies and gentlemen, it is serious. Tusicheze. We can do politics with other things, but let us not do politics with the lives of our people.
Mheshimiwa Cheptumo loved you. Indeed, he was loyal to you. He was not only loyal to you, he was loyal to the party. He was loyal to the party of the day. And that is one of the things I've learned, that loyalty pays. Loyalty pays. It is not sycophancy. People think that loyalty is being a sycophant. Sycophancy and loyalty are two different things. Let me ask the people of Kenya to practice the politics of Mheshimiwa Cheptumo, of no hatred. Hii maneno ya kuitana maneno mbaya. Hata juzi mimi nikaona kitu ingine inaandikwa Kasongo. Kwani wewe ni nani uite mtu mwingine jina kama hiyo? Can't you say what you want to do for the people of Kenya so that you can be elected? I'm urging politicians at the national and all levels that you don't have to abuse anybody to be able to be somebody. Indeed, you can be somebody by doing the right thing to the citizens of Kenya. Asante.
Huyu ndugu wetu Cheptumo alienda hospitali, na mnajua ya kwamba kama hakuna mpango na taratibu ya sawasawa kwa hospitali, mambo yanaweza kwenda mrama. Na ndio sababu tumesema tuwe na mfumo wa afya ambayo itasaidia wananchi wote bila ya kujali uwezo wao wa kifedha. How we can have universal health coverage that takes care of all Kenyans. I want to ask you that we work together towards making sure that we can take care of our health requirements and we can take care of ourselves. I believe that we all agree on the common issues. If you look at the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza, there was universal health coverage, there was housing. If you look at the manifesto of Azimio, there was universal health coverage, there was housing. There are some common issues that we can pursue with common interest for the people of Kenya. And that is what Cheptumo stood for, as a patriot and as a person who believes in this nation.
Your Excellency, there are some people in this world who suffer from, and there are many, they suffer from what you call intellectual insecurity. What do I mean by intellectual insecurity? There are people who are so worried, even if the bishop is talking to the neighbor, the man is so worried, he's going to ask the bishop, what was he telling you? Because he imagined the bishop is talking about him. And there are so many who suffer from this sense of insecurity. They always imagine that when other people talk, they are up to something against them. I want to tell you, Cheptumo was a very straightforward man who suffered no sense of insecurity. He was free, even if he sees somebody else talking to the other, even if you are his competitor. This man was forthright. He would not worry because he was focused. Nakwambia kuna watu hapa na kule nje katika ulimwengu wakiona hata rais akizungumza na mtu wanaanza kubabaika, wanafikiri sasa mambo yao yameisha. Cheptumo hakuwa hivyo. Very focused.
I can say that this was a very useful engagement, clarifying Kenya's position on matters human rights, then the financial adjustment that is taking place because of the geopolitics, and of course finally we also addressed the issue of the conference on disarmament, basically explaining our stand against dangerous weapons, weapons of mass destruction, whether nuclear, chemical, biological, all these kind of weapons that are very dangerous to human beings, to the very existence of society. We must be very clear that they should not be deployed at all. I'm very happy with the ambassador, Madame To, Fancy To, and her team. They've done a good job. They have a lot of work on their hands because they're dealing with several agencies. The World Meteorological Organization, WIPO, the one that deals with intellectual property rights, and so many other entities. We have about 400 non-governmental agencies here and so many others, and all of them have to be handled by this diplomatic team. So I think they are doing a good job, and that is why within the framework of the sessional paper on foreign policy, which is before Parliament as we speak, we have to really have Parliament to give support to our diplomatic missions across the board, and to have them well resourced, because it's a new area, and we need to have our teams working seamlessly, so their welfare, their tools of trade and so forth must be up to speed. And one of the key issues that we must look at is to strengthen the digital capacity of all our embassies, so that technology can help us navigate through this very, very complex situation, because resources are scarce at home as we speak, and therefore we need to find a way of leveraging and working smart, so that we can get maximum output in spite of the challenges that we're facing. But I really want to commend the team here, and also to commend the ambassador in Ban. This is Madame Abbas. We've had some engagements with them. We've also engaged with other professionals operating here. And I think we were able to give an explanation of some of the many things and queries that they may not have facts on. And sometimes misrepresentation has been taking the better of everybody. So we were here to clarify some of those things. I also had an opportunity to meet Mr. Filippo Grande. This is the High Commissioner for Refugees, and he has a lot of good words to speak, particularly on Kenya's Shirika plan. This is the plan that helps to integrate refugees into the productive process in the areas where they have been given refuge over the years. And in Kenya, we specifically focus on Dadaab and Kakuma. And today, Kenya has got close to 700,000 refugees. And that is a very, very important matter when you're talking matters of human rights, which we should not take for granted as a people. So he has a lot of regard for the efforts that the government of Kenya is pursuing. That's something we need to look at critically. We also had an opportunity to talk to the Director General of the WTO, Dr. Ngozi Iweala, and amongst many other things that could have been that are bilateral. For instance, for us to accelerate accession to the treaty on the blue economy, especially the fisheries, where our fishermen and our country can benefit from the blue economy. That is important. There are 90 countries that have already assented. Kenya is a leading economy in that region, and they want us to accelerate the process. I'm happy to say that this particular document is in Parliament on the relevant before the relevant committee on matters blue economy, and I believe they'll accelerate the processing so that we can assent to this treaty formally and have all the processes cleared. So that's a very significant thing. But perhaps what we need to take home on this is that she was very categorical that the era of relying on aid based on the geopolitics that we are now seeing has literally come to an end. And it is absolutely essential that countries, including Kenya, embrace trade and how to attract investment. In fact, we should now be competing. Our strategy, our focus must be how to compete and attract investments. That is the way to go. And shift gear immediately from aid dependency and focus on investments, how to attract investments, and trade, both inter-African trade and also Africa trading with other countries. So our policy shift must be immediate, must be radical, and we must be aggressive in promoting Kenya and indeed Africa as an investment destination. Okay, we cannot afford to prevaricate. Other countries are making their moves. We must make our move as a country. Parliament must be quick in decision making in this agenda. The county governments must be quick. The national government as the executive must be quick. And we must now embrace a stronger partnership with our private sector across the board, whether in agricultural sector, whether in manufacturing, whether in finance. We must work as a team and very, very fast, because everybody is going to scramble for these investors. You know, in those days, in the colonial days, they used to say the scramble for Africa. Everybody wanted a piece of Africa. But now it's our turn as Africa to scramble for investment, globally and even within the continent. I also met with the Director General of the Global Fund, the CEO of the Global Fund, Mr. Sands. He gave us a very clear picture that the health the Global Health Fund is under threat in terms of resource mobilization capacity. In the previous cycle, they had raised about $18 billion. They believe that that is the target they want to maintain. But he cautioned that we have to be wary that the mood in certain capitals, particularly Washington, which is a big funder, a big contributor to the Global Fund. They contribute close to a third of the resources within the Global Fund, may not be as forthcoming as they have been in the past. So it is also essential that we adjust, not just as a country, Kenya, but as a continent, and figure out how we are going to deal with the financing gap that will arise if resources are not going to be flowing in the health sector. And now this brings to question the whole debate we have been having in Kenya. Universal health care. It has been taken as a joke in certain circumstances. Some have looked at it as a punitive engagement between the government of Kenya and the people. But here is a situation where the government of Kenya is now going to be vindicated. That unless, what the message that is coming from the international arena is that, hey, you guys take care of your own health programs. They are not going to be underwritten by donors or partners anymore. And therefore, we now must look at it as Kenyans that what was being seen as maybe not being popular should now be seen, taken even more seriously, because it was not about being popular, it was about safeguarding the health of the Kenyan people. Now there's a vacuum that is emerging from the international arena. Countries, governments must find ways of dealing with the health programs of their own citizens. So the universal health care now must shift from the angle at which it was being seen by people to now be seen as a serious life-saving program for the people of Kenya. Nobody is going to take care of Kenyans other than ourselves. And we now must look at this, clean up the areas that maybe have implementation problems, but it is absolutely essential now and in the future that we program ourselves and raise resources to deal with the health challenge. Okay, I could give you examples. There are almost 1.3 million Kenyans who get support from partners on matters of health, particularly in areas like HIV and ARVs. But these are some of the areas that have been targeted in this financial adjustment that is taking place globally. Kenya at least funds about 40% from its own resources, and 60% has been funded by the partners. Now, you can imagine if there is that guillotine that we are talking about, then what happens to these Kenyans? What happens to these individuals who are living in the country and need medical assistance and attention? So it is a real issue. And that is why these adjustments, and that's why I'm emphasizing this area as a very critical example. Other countries have their own problems, have different ratios. There are some countries where the ratio of support is 100% donor funded. What is going to happen to those? Okay, you have WHO if it doesn't get its resources. We are seeing institutions like USAID being wound up, and we had the PEFA program that was supporting so many people. So these are real issues. It's not fiction. They're real issues that we have to deal with.